Americans spend $2 trillion on food every year. But what you don't know is that many of the products you're buying might be completely fake. 90% of the truffle oil you've ever tasted has never been near a real truffle. What you don't know about these 11 fake foods is quietly stealing your money and potentially harming your health. Today, I'm exposing 11 fake foods that are fooling millions of Americans. When you see what's really in that expensive Wagyu beef, you'll never trust premium food labels the same way again. Hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to learn could save you thousands of dollars and protect your family from dangerous food fraud. Let's start with one of the biggest food frauds in the culinary world. That expensive bottle of truffle oil in fancy restaurants, it's almost certainly fake, and the real story will shock you. Real truffles sell for thousands of dollars per pound. They're rare, difficult to harvest, and have an incredibly complex flavor that food lovers describe as earthy and intoxicating. But almost all commercial truffle oil contains zero actual truffles. Instead, it's made with 2.4 dithiapentane, a synthetic chemical compound found in petroleum products. This laboratory-created chemical costs pennies to manufacture and can flavor gallons of oil. Food fraud investigators tested dozens of truffle oil brands and found over 90% contain no truffle whatsoever. Even products labeled truffle extract are typically synthetic chemicals. The markup is astronomical. A bottle costing less than $2 to produce sells for $20 to $50 in stores. Restaurants charge premium prices for dishes containing nothing but synthetic petroleum byproducts. But the deception goes deeper than just fake flavoring. Many truffle oil producers use low-quality base oils, often refined vegetable oils, that have been chemically processed and stripped of nutrients. These oils are then artificially flavored and sold as premium products. Professional chefs refuse to use fake truffle oil, describing the synthetic flavor as overpowering and one-dimensional. Nothing like real truffles. Walk down any grocery store aisle and you'll find that most products labeled as maple syrup contain little to no actual maple. Real maple syrup requires 40 gallons of maple sap to produce 1 gallon of syrup. This labor-intensive process makes genuine maple syrup expensive, which is why most maple syrup contains little to no actual maple. Major breakfast syrup brands are primarily high-fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors, and caramel coloring. These products contain less than 2% real maple syrup, if any at all. The artificial maple flavoring comes from compounds like vanillin and fenugreek extract. While these approximate maple flavor, they lack the complex taste profile of real maple syrup, which contains over 300 different flavor compounds. Real maple syrup contains antioxidants, minerals like manganese and zinc, and has a lower glycemic index than corn syrup. Fake maple syrup is liquid sugar with zero nutritional value. The price difference between real and fake maple syrup should be a red flag. If a bottle of maple syrup costs the same as corn syrup, it probably is corn syrup with artificial flavoring. Most breakfast restaurants serve corn syrup-based products while charging premium prices for maple syrup with pancakes and waffles. If you've eaten wasabi at a sushi restaurant, there's a 99% chance you've never tasted real wasabi. What you think is wasabi is horseradish, mustard, and green food coloring. Real wasabi grows only in specific mountain stream beds in Japan and requires precise conditions to survive. A single plant takes 4 years to mature and costs over $200 per pound. Fake wasabi uses horseradish root, mustard powder, cornstarch, and artificial green coloring. While horseradish is related to wasabi, the flavor profile is completely different. Real wasabi has a complex, nuanced heat that builds gradually and dissipates quickly. It's described as having floral, sweet notes alongside its spiciness. Fake wasabi made from horseradish has a harsh, burning sensation that lingers in your sinuses. Even in Japan, many sushi restaurants serve fake wasabi due to cost and scarcity. Real wasabi contains beneficial compounds with anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties that are absent in horseradish substitutes. Some high-end restaurants have started offering real wasabi as a premium option, but they charge significantly more for the authentic experience. The price difference can be $20 to $30 per serving. Parmesan cheese fraud is so widespread that FDA investigations have found wood pulp, cheddar cheese, and other fillers in products labeled as 100% Parmesan. The cheese aisle has become a minefield of fake and adulterated products. Real Parmigiano Reggiano is made only in specific Italian regions using traditional methods. The cheese must age for at least 12 months and can only contain milk, salt, and rennet. The flavor is complex, nutty, and sharp with a granular texture. But most grated Parmesan cheese sold in American supermarkets contains significant amounts of fillers and anti-caking agents. Cellulose, which is essentially wood pulp, is commonly added to prevent clumping. While technically safe to eat, it dilutes the cheese and reduces nutritional value. FDA testing has revealed that some brands of grated Parmesan contain less than 50% actual cheese. The most egregious cases involve products containing no Parmesan whatsoever, just mixtures of cheddar, mozzarella, and artificial flavoring. Pre-grated Parmesan is particularly susceptible because consumers can't identify authentic cheese texture once it's processed. Restaurant chains commonly serve fake Parmesan with significant filler content mixed with small amounts of real cheese. Some manufacturers use misleading labeling to confuse consumers. Terms like Parmesan style or Italian hard cheese are used to suggest authenticity while avoiding legal requirements for real Parmesan cheese. Vanilla is the world's second most expensive spice after saffron, but most vanilla flavoring comes from an unexpected source: wood pulp from paper mills. The vanilla extract in your kitchen cabinet probably contains no vanilla beans whatsoever. Real vanilla comes from hand-pollinated orchid seed pods that must cure for months to develop complex flavor. This makes genuine vanilla extract expensive and sometimes difficult to find. Artificial vanilla flavoring is made from vanillin, synthesized from wood lignin, a paper manufacturing byproduct. This synthetic vanillin provides basic vanilla taste, but lacks hundreds of other flavor compounds found in real vanilla beans. Real vanilla extract has floral, fruity, and sometimes smoky notes. Artificial vanilla has one-dimensional sweetness without complexity. Food manufacturers prefer artificial vanilla because it's consistent, cheap, and has a longer shelf life than real vanilla extract. A gallon of artificial vanilla flavoring costs a fraction of what real vanilla extract would cost. Even products labeled natural vanilla flavor may not contain vanilla beans. Natural vanillin can be extracted from rice bran or clove oil, technically natural, but not from vanilla plants. The FDA allows manufacturers to use terms like vanilla flavored or artificially flavored, without clearly indicating whether the product contains real vanilla. Many consumers assume that vanilla-flavored products contain some real vanilla when they may contain none. Most commercial vanilla ice cream and baking products use artificial vanillin rather than real vanilla extract, prioritizing cost over flavor quality. Honey fraud is a billion-dollar industry flooding markets with fake and adulterated products. Much grocery store honey has been diluted with corn syrup, rice syrup, or other cheap sweeteners. Real honey is produced by bees from flower nectar and contains hundreds of beneficial compounds, including antioxidants, enzymes, and trace minerals. The flavor varies depending on what flowers the bees visited, creating unique regional varieties. Fake honey mixes small amounts of real honey with high fructose corn syrup or rice syrup, then filters out pollen and markers that would reveal true origin. China exports massive amounts of adulterated honey, often adding corn syrup, rice syrup, and industrial chemicals to increase volume and reduce costs. This fake honey gets laundered through third countries to disguise origin and avoid tariffs. Ultra-filtered honey removes all pollen, making origin determination impossible. This process often hides adulteration or questionable sources. Real honey has antimicrobial properties and beneficial immune-supporting compounds. Fake honey provides none of these benefits and may harm people with diabetes or other health conditions. Testing for honey authenticity is complex and expensive, which allows fake products to slip through regulatory oversight. Local honey, sold directly by beekeepers, is generally more trustworthy than mass-market brands. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the most counterfeited foods in the world, with studies showing up to 70% of imported olive oil sold in American stores fails to meet extra virgin classification standards. Extra virgin olive oil is one of the most counterfeited foods worldwide. Real extra virgin olive oil must come from olives pressed within hours of harvesting using only mechanical methods, with low acidity and passing sensory tests. This expensive, time-sensitive process makes authentic extra virgin olive oil costly. Fake extra virgin olive oil mixes lower-grade olive oil with cheaper vegetable oils like soybean, sunflower, or canola oil. These blends are chemically treated to reduce acidity and artificially colored to look pure. Some fake olive oils contain no olives whatsoever, just cheap vegetable oils flavored and colored to mimic olive oil. Italian olive oil fraud involves criminal organizations importing cheap oils, processing them in Italy, and exporting them as premium Italian olive oil. Regular olive oil or pomace oil gets mislabeled and sold as extra virgin for significantly higher prices. Some olive oil producers have started using blockchain technology and other tracking methods to verify the authenticity of their products. These systems allow consumers to trace their olive oil back to the specific grove where the olives were grown. Wagyu beef has become synonymous with luxury dining, but most Wagyu sold in American restaurants and stores isn't authentic Japanese Wagyu. You're paying premium prices for regular beef with a fancy name. Real Japanese Wagyu comes from specific cattle breeds raised under strict regulations in Japan. The cattle receive special diets, massages, and stress-free environments, creating beef with incredible marbling that melts in your mouth. American Wagyu often comes from crossbred cattle with some Wagyu genetics, but raised using conventional methods. While potentially high quality, it's not authentic Japanese Wagyu and shouldn't command the same prices. Many restaurants use meaningless terms like Wagyu style or Wagyu influenced to describe regular beef prepared to mimic Wagyu appearance. These marketing terms justify charging premium prices for ordinary beef. Authentic Japanese A5 Wagyu costs over $300 per pound, while American Wagyu costs $50 to $100 per pound. Regular beef labeled Wagyu in restaurants might cost establishments less than $20 per pound. DNA testing reveals many Wagyu products contain no Wagyu genetics whatsoever, just regular beef cattle grain finished to increase marbling and marketed as premium products. Restaurant markup on fake Wagyu is enormous. A steak that costs the restaurant $30 might be sold for $150 or more, with customers believing they're getting authentic Japanese beef. Imitation crab has become so common that many people have never tasted real crab meat. This fake seafood is processed fish and artificial flavoring, yet it's served as legitimate crab product. Imitation crab is made from surimi, paste created by washing and processing white fish like pollock or cod. This fish paste mixes with starch, egg whites, and artificial crab flavoring to create something vaguely resembling crab meat. The texture is achieved through mechanical processing and the addition of binding agents. The characteristic red coloring comes from artificial dyes or natural colorants like paprika extract. Real crab meat has sweet, delicate flavor and tender, flaky texture that's impossible to replicate. It is high in protein, low in fat, and contains beneficial omega-3 fatty acids. Imitation crab is highly processed, contains added sugars and preservatives, and has little nutritional value. Many sushi restaurants use imitation crab in California rolls without clearly indicating it's not real crab. Customers pay premium sushi prices for processed fish paste instead of authentic seafood. Real crab meat costs $20 to $30 per pound, while imitation crab costs less than $5 per pound. Food labeling laws require products to be clearly labeled as imitation crab or crab-flavored seafood, but restaurants aren't always transparent about what they're serving. Many customers assume they're getting real crab when ordering crab salad or crab cakes. White tuna served in sushi restaurants often isn't tuna at all, but escolar, a fish that can cause serious digestive problems. This substitution is so common that many sushi lovers have never tasted real white tuna. Escolar is called the X-lax fish because it contains high levels of indigestible wax esters, causing severe diarrhea, cramping, and digestive issues. These compounds can't be removed through cooking. Real white tuna albacore has a mild flavor and firm texture. Escolar has a buttery, rich taste some prefer, but health risks make it unsuitable for regular consumption. The substitution happens because escolar is much cheaper than real white tuna and has longer shelf life. Restaurants significantly increase profit margins by serving escolar instead of authentic tuna. Many countries have banned or restricted Escolar sales due to health effects, but it remains legal in the United States with proper labeling. However, most restaurants don't inform customers about potential side effects. Escolar poisoning symptoms can occur within hours and last for days. Effects are dose-dependent. Larger portions increase likelihood and severity of symptoms. DNA testing reveals up to 80% of white tuna served in restaurants is actually escolar or other substitute fish. Premium coffee fraud involves mixing expensive beans with cheaper varieties, chicory, or even non-coffee fillers. Your expensive single-origin coffee might contain mostly cheap Robusta beans or artificial additives. Real specialty coffee comes from specific regions with unique growing conditions, careful harvesting, and precise processing methods. These factors create distinct flavor profiles that coffee enthusiasts pay premium prices to experience. Fake premium coffee mixes small amounts of genuine beans with cheaper alternatives, then relies on flavoring and marketing to maintain the illusion of authenticity. Some products contain no premium coffee whatsoever. Ground coffee is particularly susceptible to adulteration because consumers can't identify bean origin or quality once it's processed. Whole bean coffee is harder to fake, making it a safer choice for quality-conscious consumers. The markup on fake premium coffee can be enormous, with products costing pennies to produce selling for $20 to $30 per pound. The food fraud industry operates sophisticated networks spanning multiple countries, making detection extremely difficult. Regulatory agencies are understaffed and underfunded, relying primarily on random sampling rather than comprehensive testing. Remember, if the price seems too good to be true, it probably is. Authentic specialty foods cost more because they're expensive to produce using traditional methods. Buy from reputable sources that provide supply chain information. Local producers, specialty stores, and retailers with strong reputations are less likely to sell fraudulent products. Learn to recognize authentic product signs. Real Parmesan has granular texture and complex flavor. Real olive oil tastes fruity and slightly peppery. Real honey crystallizes over time with complex flavor profiles. Read labels carefully and be suspicious of vague terms like natural flavoring or style. These often disguise the fact that products don't contain expected ingredients. When dining out, and ask questions about ingredients and preparation methods. Reputable restaurants should tell you whether their Wagyu is authentic Japanese beef or if their wasabi is real. But knowledge is power. When you understand how these scams work and what to look for, you can protect yourself and your family from food fraudsters. The choice is yours. You can continue buying products based on marketing claims and fancy labels, or you can become an informed consumer demanding authenticity and transparency. Your taste buds and your wallet will thank you for making the right choice. If this video opened your eyes to food fraud, share it with someone who still believes expensive labels guarantee quality. Hit that subscribe button to stay informed about what's really in your food. Remember, not all premium foods are what they claim to be. And now you know how to spot the fakes. Thanks for watching, and shop wisely.